This is everything coming to Overwatch 2 Season 20, which is live right now. These are the patch notes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa. Okay, so let's begin. First up, we've got the return of Winter Wonderland. This is, of course, the Christmas event, and we've got the new modes returning. So basically, for the first 2 weeks of the event, you will be able to play the prop hunt mode. This is Mischief and Magic on a wintry version of King's Row. And then from weeks 3 to 4, this is December the 23rd to January the 5th, they're changing the mode up a little bit, and this is what they say. A variant of the mode that will allow the props to defend themselves. Now, when you're hiding as Rogue Kiriko in prop form, you can taunt and stun the Genji Knights to gain ultimate charge, and then use your ultimate and supercharged health to take them down while you scurry away. Find the mode in the arcade or game modes tab in the event. Also with this is going to be a new reward system. So they say this: complete challenges and collect cookies. Play both new winter modes, Magic and Mischief, Mischief and Magic I should say, and Mischief and Magic Wonderland to earn special cookies through completing challenges. In the Winter Wonderland event homepage, you can then gift your holiday cookies to one of 3 mystical winter spirits, Tracer the Elf, Santa Torbjorn, or Junkrat Krampus. Each spirit has their own rewards to give you as a thank you for the cookies, loot boxes, battle pass tier skips, and awesome cosmetics. There's also returning modes from old and ancient Winter Wonderland events. So from weeks 1 to 4, this is December the 9th to January the 5th, your favourite returning winter modes are back. May Snowball Offensive, Snowball Deathmatch, Yeti Hunter, Freeze Thaw Elimination will be available in the arcade and the new game modes tab in the Winter Wonderland event. So we've got some general changes here coming in. The majority of these are aim assist changes for console, but I'll just go over this very quickly. So general changes are as such: saves for overhealth. All heroes that apply overhealth to allies can now get saves for this if the application is well timed. Only a few could in the past. And then onto aim assist, you've got a ton of changes here. So they've increased aim assist strength by 7%. New extra sensitivity options. You've got extra horizontal sensitivity at max dead zone, extra vertical sensitivity at max dead zone, I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to link to it in the video description below. But there's just basically a complete overhaul of the aim assist. I think there's a blog post as well the developers have put up about this, but I think this is going to make it easier. Again, I don't know, is it fair to say easier? I think it's going to make it more fine-tunable. And I think, you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I might be talking some mad shit here, but I think this might be to sort of bring parity with those like fancy controllers. You know, if you've got like an elite Xbox controller or whatever, they can do certain things that normal controllers can't do. I don't know, I'm not entirely sure, but it's making aim assist more tunable, so you can make it work how you want to work. Obviously it's just on consoles though, it's not on PC. Now this is a big one if you're in the top 500, which isn't really much of the player base, and it's a really kind of, this is a controversial change because they're really now starting to prioritize just playtime really over, I guess you could say, skill. This is a difficult one. I'm not sure this is going to go down very well with the super high level players. And the TLDR of this, I am going to go through these patch notes, but the TLDR is basically you are now, top 500 has been replaced with Challenger tier, and you earn Challenger points, and there's no cap. And if you just keep earning more points, then you just get higher, I guess. And I don't know. It just seems crazy because if you put a time element, as is you just keep playing the game more, you'll get more points. Because I think you win more. You get more for a win than you do for a loss. Again, this could all be, I could be getting this wrong, I'm not sure. I'm just kind of ad-libbing on what I've been seeing people talking about. But I don't know. To me, if you're adding a system in the game which does reward some element of just playing the game, like the more playtime you've got, that shouldn't really be the deciding factor, should it, when you're at the highest level of play? I don't know. Anyway, these are the patch notes, right? You guys can make your own mind up on this. But like I said, I don't think this really affects any of us, really. Very, very few players. So, top 500 has been changed to Challenger tier. The Challenger leaderboard is now organised by Challenger score. Winning a match at above Diamond 5 in core competitive play or All-Star 5 in Stadium now grants Challenger score. The exact Challenger score players get for, or the exact amount, I guess, they get for a win is based on the highest ranked player in each match. A map of ranks to Challenger score payout is included at the end of this section. Losing a match at above Diamond 5 or All-Star 5 subtracts 33% of the Challenger score a player would gain at their rank according to the table below. The highest ranked player in the match is not used to calculate the challenger score for losses. Challenger score is recorded over the course of a season and reset to 0 when a season ends. Challenger score gains a heat bonus each consecutive week of the season, 5%. Of 5%. So an example of this is at the end of a 9-week season, a win would be worth 40% more. Challenger score can't be earned in wide matches. Challenger score earned role queue is applied to both role-specific leaderboards and the combined leaderboard. Challenger score earned in open queue and stadium are accumulated in separate leaderboards. Challenger score has been added to the career profile. Challenger score has been added to the competitive progress screen. Verified Challenger tier players will now be able to link to their social channels directly from the Challenger leaderboards, allowing everyone to watch some of our highest skilled players live on various platforms. I do think that's a cool change. The first wave of players with this privilege will start small and will expand this group over time. The players that are currently live in the game client will have a red highlight on their streaming link. The following requirements to appear on the leaderboards have changed. Requirements not mentioned here remain unchanged. Players no longer have to win a specific number of games to appear on the leaderboard. There is no longer a time delay before the leaderboard appear. Each leaderboard has a challenger score requirement. Once players meet this requirement, they will immediately appear on the leaderboards. The combined requirements are as follows. So combined is 5,000, open queue is 5,000, stadium is 5,000, and each role in core 5v5 and stadium is 4,000. So I suppose as well, I should have noted that, yeah, the top 500 or this new system, which is like the replacement of top 500, will now be in stadium as well, which is the first for that. Endorsement level 2 is required. Endorsement level 2 has been the default for level for starting place since season 19. For stadium, a new challenge requiring 25 wins has been added. Many usability improvements have been made to leaderboard screens, such as the ability to scroll, the ability to search the leaderboards for a player's name, a go to me button, and filters for players using social links described above. Rewards for Challenger tier will be improved over top 500, but the exact improvements will be revealed as we get closer when they're awarded in season 21. So then they basically break down the tiers. So the tier division to Challenger score for core competitive play, remember this isn't for stadium, this is for the core competitive mode, is Diamond 5 is 30, Diamond 4 is 32, Diamond 3 is 34, Diamond 2 is 36, Diamond 1 is 38, Master 5 is 42, Master 4 is 46, Master 3 is 50, Master 2 is 54, Master 1 is 50, Grandmaster 5 is 70, Grandmaster 4 is 82. You get the idea, right, guys? Again, there's a link to all of this in the video description below. I'm not just going to sit here and read numbers off for every single rank. It is mental. But you get what I'm saying, right? They're just breaking down how many tier points you get. Well, how many Challenger score points you get for core competitive play based on your tier. And then they do the same for Stadium, right? Now, I will read the dev comments off here because this is what the devs say. Because, of course, this is a major change to Top 500. This upgrade changes our existing leaderboards into a season-long race between the best players with better rewards and real recognition for players. A player maintaining multiple accounts on the leaderboard becomes considerably more difficult in this new world we're living in now because obviously it's tied to playtime, right? So you can't be playing on all of these accounts all the time. Obviously, the issue with the old system is you could just park in top 500, right? So you could win games, sit there, chill, whatever, that's great. Then fire up another ult and then just keep doing that. That's going to be difficult now because the challenger points are going to constantly keep increasing. So you're going to need to be playing like multiple accounts like almost at the same time to stay at the highest level. So I suppose in that way, it's kind of, you know, decent. And they do say, we're sure some of you will try to do this. Anyway, social links on the leaderboard are intended to give aspiring creators and seasoned streamers a chance to show off what it means to be the best at the game. Challenger score shifts the focus away from camping a high position to continually battling for top placement, and in doing so, elevates the prestige of the system. Top placement at the end of a season will be more competitive than in the past, and this is very intended. Heat bonus ensures that as time passes in a season, each new victory counts for slightly more. Overall, we believe that being on the leaderboard should be about continual push for excellence instead of a brief burst of higher rank wins followed by a long period of inactivity that it is often today. So yeah, I mean, again, the final point to end on there is the heat bonus system, which I think this set increases by 5% every week, whatever it was. That obviously is like a fast kind of catch-up mechanic in a way, So if maybe you don't play as much at the start of the season, but you play more at the end of the season, maybe that's, I don't know, a more optimal way of doing it. But I think at the end of the day, this system is just, it's a like an engagement-based system of like, look, if you want to be at the top, you've got to play every day, and you've got to put hours and hours and hours in every single day, because this is just going to be an endless race. And I suppose that's going to be good for the metrics of the game, because people are going to engage more with competitive at the higher level, instead of just getting to the top level and then sitting there and basically doing nothing because, well, they're already at top 500, then they mess around with their ults. Anyway, like I said, the majority of this probably won't affect us. I know you do get challenger points for being in Diamond, and Diamond 5, so it's not like completely ultra high level, but still, you know, you're going to need to be at the top tiers to be getting the more of a reward. Just again, to give you an example, if you compare Diamond 5, you get 30 points for a win, to Grandmaster 5, you get 70. So you can see the difference, right? It's massive. Anyway, let's move on to the hero updates. So this is just for the core competitive mode. Now, I'm going to say straight away, I am not going over the stadium changes. There are literally 8 pages of stadium changes here. This is like crazy. I'll link to them in the video description below, but we will go over the core changes. So we'll start with the tanks. Junker Queen Carnage, the cooldown is increased from 8 to 9 seconds. Hazard Jagged Wall, the knockback damage has been increased from 40 to 50, and health increased from 350 to 400. Reinhardt Earth Shatter, the ultimate cost has been increased by 9%. Sigma Hyperspheres, impact direct damage has been increased from 15 to 25. That is a pretty meaty change for Sigma. Then moving on to DPS, Bastion, Configuration Recon, fire rate increased from 5 to 6 shots per second. Freya, Rev Draw Crossbow, the damage has been increased from 25 to 30. Take Aim, direct hit damage reduced from 40 to 30. Explosion damage has been reduced from 90 to 80. Quick Dash, distance travelled, increased by 15%. Bowler Shot, hinder duration on hit target increased from 1.2 to 1.4. And Area Slow has been increased from 25 to 45%. Junkrat, Frag Launcher, projectile speed increased from 25 to 30, and the Frag Cannon, which is a perk, projectile speed increase reduced from 40% to 25, and no longer reduces ammo capacity. And for Reaper, well, the Reaping lifesteal has been reduced from 30 to 25%. So this is the launch version of Vendetta based on the information they got from the hero trial. So this is the first balance pass of the new hero. Of course, I'm really looking forward to playing her. I think she's really good. So this is what they've done. So the general changes are reduced recovery times of the Palatine Fang overhead, Whirlwind Dash, and projected edge by about 15%. That is going to make her feel a lot smoother to play. She was a little bit sort of janky. Onslaught, the stack duration is increased from 5.5 to 6.5 seconds. So again, that's a buff. Projected edge, projectile speed increased from 33 to 37 meters per second. Again, a buff. So that when you launch a projectile out from your defensive stance mode, that's going to be easier to hit now because it travels faster. Soaring Slice, the max throw distance has been reduced though from 16 to 14 meters. So a little bit of a mobility nerf there, but I don't think that's going to be too bad. Sundering Blade, the cast time has been increased from 0.4 to 0.5 seconds, but the base damage has also been increased from 100 to 120. Now for perks, Siphoning Strike Lifesteal has been increased. Now I thought they'd change this because this was like, it was okay, and I actually found myself using this more than the other one, but it was sort of like it felt like it needed a bit of love, and I think they've done the right thing here, if you ask me anyway. So it's now gone from 30% to 40% lifesteal, which is pretty good. And Swift Vengeance Overhealth has been increased from 125 to 150. So these are the developer comments, and they say this: Vendetta performed well during her hero trial, though her effectiveness fell off some at the higher ranks. These changes are mainly aimed at making her abilities feel more responsive to better flow between them. We're reducing a few of the longer recovery times and making the passive easier to upkeep through the projectile speed and duration adjustments. To help keep her engagement range in check, we're reducing the maximum distance you can throw the sword with Soaring Slice. This means it will also take less time to perform and be a bit snappier. Feedback around the Sundering Blade ultimate noted that it may be too easy to counter with how telegraphed it is when fully charging up. So we've increased the base damage to make the earlier charge levels situationally more useful. The survivability perks have been buffed slightly to make the choices more competitive. I think it's interesting, right? So the ultimate, obviously, with it doing 20 extra damage now, when you, in half a second, you can hit someone for 120 damage. So at point blank range, you can be slap, 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 pop your ultimate just on one person. That could be enough to finish them off, and that's like a nice little bit of spike damage there. That could be quite interesting for the ulti. But I do think the takeaway here is at the higher levels, and it's not even just the higher levels, right? It's as players get more used to the way Vendetta plays, they will find it easier to play around it. Because obviously, through the hero trial, everyone's got clips of killing the entire enemy team and just jumping all over the place because no one really knows how to deal with it. But as soon as you break out a Cass or even a Torb is really good against her, it's like, uh-oh, it becomes a problem because you just shoot the Vendetta, she has a problem, right? Obviously, if she can start isolating supports in the back line and working them over, she is quite powerful. But again, if you come up against a good Ana, she's just going to put you to sleep. They're going to wreck your day. So I think she's going to be a hero that's going to be really good at the start of a launch and then probably drop off a little bit. But this also is going to be an issue with a balance, right? She's a melee-only dive hero, which is... well, okay, she's got the ranged attack, but she's basically a melee hero. It's going to be so hard to balance because if she does too much damage, as soon as she gets on top of someone, she kills them instantly. That's going to feel terrible. But if she doesn't do enough damage, she's going to get on top of them and then do nothing, and then she's not going to get played, and she's going to be easily counterable. So this is going to be a lot of back and forth, I think, with Vendetta. But I do think these changes look pretty good, actually, for a launch version, so I'm looking forward to playing this. And finally, in the DPS heroes, we've got Venture. They get a little bit of a nerf. So the shield gain per ability has been reduced from 30 to 25. That's, of course, Explorer's Resolve. Venture is... You get a lot of value on Venture because you've got a get out of jail card, and it's quite easy to do damage with them. So, I don't know, maybe other changes are needed here, but it's a nerf to Venture's survivability. Okay, let's talk about support, and there is a Juno change here, which is going to be like, what the hell? Okay, so Batiste, Immortality Field, the cooldown has been reduced from 25 to 22 seconds, right? Iliari, Captive Sun, projectile size has been reduced from 0.75 to 0.45. Juno, Medi Blaster, can now deal critical damage against enemies. That's right. That's right. You can headshot with Juno now. This could be quite disgusting. Obviously, we all know Ana is absolutely disgusting with her headshot perk. If you're against an Ana player, that is good. They will kill everybody, right? But this for Juno, this could be disgusting because this isn't a perk. This is you just get it. Juno just gets the ability to crit. That seems crazy. Kiriko, the kunai, base projectile size has been reduced from 0.15 to 0.12. And Wuyang, rushing torrent, movement speed buff has been reduced from 50% to 40%. Okay, so Stadium, what I'm going to do here is just take the sort of top level changes because there's way too many changes for the items and like all of that stuff. It's way too much to go over. There's a link in the video description below if you want to go to that. It is to the Overwatch blog. But what I'm going to do is just go over, like I said, the top changes. So the main ones are Doomfist and Wuyang are the new heroes in the mode. Doomfist is going to have elements of his old DPS Doomfist available for builds, and also he's going to have like a support healer build, which is going to be quite interesting. Of course, he is a tank. And Wuyang is going in as support and can fly around on water. We've seen that from the cinematics. I believe there are screenshots out there of their skills and stuff coming to Stadium, but the big news is they're going to be playable. And also Cassidy gets a hero rework in this mode, which hopefully is going to make him a bit more viable compared to some of the other DPS picks. What I will do with Cassidy, instead of going over all of the changes, because again, it is like pages of changes and it's massive, I'll read the dev comments off because it will give us an insight into what they're trying to do. So, they wanted to address some of Cassidy's least picked powers and create viable builds across his entire kit. Several new Fan the Hammer powers, such as Buck Wild, as well as the reworked Frankie's Fixer, should nudge Cassidy's close range build towards building more tanky rather than a glass cannon that deletes tanks. Cassidy's crit build has also gotten some love with the new Dead Man Walk-In, which rewards him for taking aggressive duels and beating the odds in dangerous situations. We were also unhappy with Cassidy's High Noon build, feeling that it took too many powers and items to come online. 3 powers have been condensed down to 2, allowing the build to spike earlier in a match, while the new Forgiveness mechanic in its 12 o'clock somewhere should allow Cassidy to recover quicker if his ultimate scores no eliminations. Condensing his powers also allows Cassidy to branch out his AP options. No longer do you have to go all in on High Noon. Instead, Cass can flex into ranged AP build built around Flashbang and the new Sticky Grenade power or close range build with a barrel roll. while both still having access to powerful AP scaling on high noon. Okay, so yeah, this has been a coverage of the patch notes. It hasn't been a breakdown of absolutely everything which is coming, because of course we've got loads of cosmetics coming to the game. I've covered them in some previous videos. We've got a pretty controversial mythic skin coming for Cassidy, which I don't really think is a very strong skin at all, and I think it does play into that whole narrative of I think Blizzard are trying to move away from putting a lot of resources into things like the mythic skins, because they just don't make as much money on them as they do the shop skins. At least that's my working theory. We're going to see more collaboration events this season. But I do think, looking at it, it does seem like a pretty content-light season. Yeah, I know we're getting Vendetta, which is a crazy thing to say. It's a content-light season. We've got a new hero. But it's been a while since we've had, I don't know, a lot of stuff coming to the game. But there is a reason for this. And the reason is, next year, we're going to get a big change. So we're expecting some big news in January, or maybe even early February, for massive game-changing updates coming to the game. And I think what we've seen in the last couple of seasons is maybe you can see that there's not as much content going in, because it's being the work is basically being diverted elsewhere for another big splash that they want to make, which we know is their plan for every year, to have this big sort of upheaval, big new core systems added to the game, big new game modes and stuff like that coming to the game. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do next year. All right, guys, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to playing Vendetta, and I just want to crack on and play it now. So anyway, enough of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.